I'm going to be interviewing my parents, or my father and my brother, actually. All right, here we go. All right. Are you guys originally from DC?
Yes. Yes, I am from Northwest Washington, D.C.
Okay. Um, have you ever been to any other parts of DC?
Yes. I've been to each quadrant
Yes.
of DC.
Yes.
Yes.
And what was it like in the other quadrants or the other wards?
I got friends in each ward, so I enjoyed the nooks and crannies of each ward I went to.
Some of the wards have better restaurants and have better houses. Some parts have less crime than others. Some parts have more crimes than others.
Okay, and Dad, weren't you a police officer?
That is correct.
And did you have to, go to the different wards and stuff and deal with different types of people and stuff?
That is correct.
Okay. What about you, John?
I was visiting friends mainly. I went to a couple of different wards for music festivals, performances in music, homework assignments, learning, the city come from, monuments, and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. How would you describe your experience living and working in DC?
I want to thank Marion Barry for his summer youth employment program. That really helped me out, so that really helped me learn the city as well as learning what it's like to work in DC. I got a lot of experience networking with people who eventually led me to, other networks of people who I landed in working at country clubs, who hosted parties for presidents and diplomats. So I'd say that my overall experience working in DC was very positive. I gained a lot of knowledge.
Working in D.C. has been fun, recreational. Uh, there have been times when there's been danger, but for the most part, those problems were solved. Employment has always been plentiful. The summer program for kids is important, and the opportunity for kids to get summer jobs is good. It's a transit city. People that come from other parts around the country, they come here looking for employment, be it political or non-political. And educational personnel come here to attend the university in DC. DC has the National Zoo. It has the White House, which is the capital of the nation. It is a capital city, and it has a city government that operates here also, which is self-sustained, sustain itself as far as employment of the schools and the administration of the city.
And you mentioned the city government. Do you have any strong feelings about the city government or the federal government involving the president or the mayor?
I like the mayor. I plead the fifth on the president.
I think the mayor is a wonderful mayor. I think she does her best at trying to bring in different um, resources to enhance the school, enhance the system of school. She tries to reduce the crime in the city. She tries to make employment available to the youth. She tried to implement programs which keeps the young who are looking for employment and education available. As far as the federal government has a fellow down there who is out of New York. He tends to want to learn his way. He's stumbling, seems having a problem trying to find his way. Um, but for the most part, the branches of government that surrounds him and the branches of government that supports him towards the military, for the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, and law enforcement agencies, and the Central Intelligence agencies help keeps him on track to avoid catastrophe.
Okay. And would you recommend living in DC to like a loved one? Do you think it's like a place where you could live with loved ones and friends?
Of course. I think DC is a great place to live if you have a family, if you plan on raising a family, because it's one of the safest cities there is. in my personal opinion, in my experience. You got some of the best schools with a rich history. They could learn about not only the history of DC, but the history of the nation all in one city. And we're in a city where it's like a melting pot of so many different cultures, religions. I think they could learn and be exposed to much more than they would, anywhere else in America. I feel like DC is a small representation of America as a whole.
I believe that DC is a example of what a great city could be like. I think that being that it's divided into 4 quadrants, introduces some quadrants with more business-friendly opportunities than others. Some quadrants are more highly residential. The ability to make a fair income here in the city is an opportunity. The opportunity to attend school here is a good opportunity. It also is surrounded by 2 states, Virginia and Maryland, which give you the opportunity to be tri-city.
Tri-state area.
Tri-state area.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you the opportunity to be able to visit, be it Virginia Beach, and or Maryland or Ocean City. And at the same time, being able to visit the monuments in Washington, D.C. So it has a variety of activities that you can participate in.
Okay. And for the last question, have you ever like participated in a historical movement, like or a moment in the city, like Black Lives Matter, or like some kind of march, like something like that?
I actually won an essay contest while I was in elementary school. It was either elementary school or middle school. I won an essay contest where I got to take my family to go see the inauguration of America's first African American president, President Barack Obama. Still my president, you know what I mean? It was a great experience. We got to go out there. It was very cold the morning he was inaugurated. We got to see him as he walked by. Everybody in the city was great. The energy was high. Everything was just about unity and bringing America closer together. I felt really great at the event, and there's nothing else like it. It's truly a unique experience, a once-in-a-lifetime experience I think I'll never forget.
Okay, and you, Dad?
I had the opportunity to work in Washington, D.C. as a police officer. I attended the inauguration of Ronald Reagan, the inauguration of George Bush, the inauguration of Bill Clinton.
Cherry Blossom Festival.
I've attended the Cherry Blossom Festival. I also attended the Million Man March. I've also was on duty during the time when when groups of opposing ideas came to the city to march and participate. Also, some of the big events is that the museums in the 4th of July and the New Year's parties. And the big events for the city are usually the inauguration for the president. But at the same time, there are big events, as I said, the 4th of July, the Easter egg roll, and also the Redskin football game, which was in the city also, that had a pretty spectacular following during the time that they was in the city.
Okay, that's gonna sum up this interview.